That's what it is. So, right, three phases of evolution through a crisis. Let's say there's some kind of a crisis happening. It can, um, the context I want to set is, the crisis can happen at lots of different levels. All right, there can be crisis at a individual level, there can be crisis at a group level, there can be crisis at a community level, there can be crisis at a country level. Like, how many of you know the kind of crisis that Sri Lanka is going through now? Uh, the economy is really bad, in a bad situation. They're just fighting among each other, and kind of a civil war is breaking out. If you know what I'm saying, just type I know in the chat box. Okay, so it can be at a country level, or even it can be at a world level. It can be at a world level where all of a sudden some kind of pandemic happens, which happened a couple of years back, and what happens after that. So I'm going to be taking you through the three phases of evolution through a crisis. All right. So let's get started. So if you're ready for this, just type RNR in the chat box. That's for rock and roll. If you're ready for this, just type RNR. All right. Thank you so much. So the first stage, all right, the first phase of evolution through a crisis is this. What you're going to see is shock and security. All right, people are going to be going through some kind of shock. You can take. I'm just going to be giving you some personal examples, but for now, since it's very easy to understand, take the case of COVID. Just take the case of COVID. What happened over the last 1.5 years, right? 2 years, in fact. The first 1 year, probably it was huge shock, right? If you know what I'm saying, just type S and S in the chat box. Shock, and people were in that security mode. What did they do? What were the major themes of this time of phase one? These were the major themes. All right, lockdown, hoarding. We did not know. In fact, the day this lockdown was announced, uh, people were rushing to the nearby stores and just grabbing everything that they can, because they were in that hoarding mode, being fearful, disbelief, cannot even believe that this is happening during their lifetime. How many of you know for a fact this was a crazy, crazy ride that we have gone through? It's still not finished. It's still going through it. How many of you know this? Type P1 in the chat box. So that's how a phase one goes through. I take my own personal example, all right? So when I lost my job, first time when I lost my job, um, what's the phase one? Shock and security. Major themes: lockdown. I actually locked myself out. It's kind of a personal lockdown for me. 3 months. I did not know what to do because I was in that kind of a shock. Hoarding, being fearful, disbelief. I could not believe that after working so hard all these years through the education system, getting through the job, struggling to get through the first job, and getting into that after that. In spite of that, I lost my job. Shock. All right. How many of you have gone through any of this kind of a shock in your personal life? It can be career related, it can be health related, it can be relationship related, it can be money related, wealth related, anything of this sort. One of those days when me, my twin sister, and my mom, and we walked. We were like in fifth standard or sixth standard. Uh, School finished. My mom was also a working mother. She returns from office. We go back home, open the lock of the first door, the main entrance. We see that the back door is open, the immediate door. There was one more door behind. We saw that there was a cut out. Someone had come. Someone had just taken off everything that we had kept at our house, jewelry, money, everything. Thankfully, no one was there, so no one was hurt. Shock, shock and security. Now, then, just it's all about what will happen if I keep my money, my jewels at home. I'll go and put it in the bank. Shock and security. That's the first phase that anyone would go through when there's some kind of crisis, that if whenever they're experiencing that. Okay, if you got this, just type got it in the chat box. So from there, what happens next is phase two of evolution, trying to cope up with it. So um, 2020 was wiped out, lockdown. 2021, people started trying to cope with what was happening in the world, trying to cope with the uh, COVID. Vaccines were out. And then what happens to the major themes? What is the major um, uh, what was the major theme during phase two? All right, people started being empathetic towards others. People are dying left, right, and center, right? So empathy automatically happens. Stress management. So we realize that okay, constantly being worried and stressed out is not going to help. Let's we anyway have to go out buy stuff. Let's make sure we practice proper sanitization. All right. So a lot of things came up, masks and sanitizers and all those things came up, and we started uh, thinking about well-being, being mindful. A lot of companies started investing into being mindful, the practice of being mindful and all that, and which helped a lot of other companies and even retaining talent and helping them get out of this phase. In a lot of companies even have this option of one-on-one help, where if you are struggling with something, some kind of mental emotional issue, you can reach out to the team and get some kind of a consultation free of cost, being the mindfulness quotient, improvement of all that. All right, then people started questioning. So people are dying left, right, and center. So what's the meaning of me doing all these things? So people wanted to orient themselves towards doing meaningful job, meaningful career options and opportunities. People started thinking about personal development. People understood that okay, if I really have to find a meaning and purpose, one of the key things I have to do is to know myself better. And I always say this: if knowledge is power, knowledge about self, that's yourself, is a superpower. All right. So people started thinking about purpose, meaning, and all these things became the major theme of phase two. And even when I was trying to find my next job, and 3 months lockdown, 3 months of stress and all that, then I realized, all right, I think staying like this, is it going to help? I started managing my own stress. I was trying to be mindful about how I spend my time and all those things. So I was trying to reach out to people, in fact, seek help and all those things that led to the next level, which you're going to get into. All right, this is the phase two that people will go through when they've experienced a crisis and trying to evolve out of it. This is the first one and the second one. And the third phase, and I know for a fact that if you are part of this community, you're already in phase three of evolution through any kind of crisis. It can be personal, professional, financial, uh, even any kind of crisis. All right. I know for a fact that if you're here, you're already in phase three. And if you're not yet here, I would highly encourage that if you're watching this as one of my videos or recordings, please make the decision and be part of this community, because this is a, a community of high performance people who are constantly thinking about high performance, people who are constantly thinking about avoiding burnout, people who are constantly thinking about becoming productive and elevating themselves to the next level, improving their identity, all right, creating an impact, contributing, being part of a community which loves each other. All right, so this is what you're going to be seeing. So, what is going to be the major theme of phase three? Major theme is going to be major advancement. You will tell to yourself that, all right, enough is enough. I've gone through the fears, I've been empathetic towards myself. Now it's time to really take super major action, enormous action. All right. So the major themes you're going to be finding out, and you being part of this community, you'll already see all this. All right. Productivity. You've been coached on productivity on a weekly basis and also through my courses. Leadership. You building yourself is ultimately going to help you become a leader. Motivation. All this weekly calls that you're going to be attending is going to help you generate that motivation for yourself. All right. It can be an extrinsic motivation through you attending these calls, or you practicing those mindfulness practices, habits, and all those things that you're learning through this community. That's going to help you be motivated and stay motivated. Next one is progress. When you're constantly there on this path, the next thing that's going to happen is progress. You're going to be seeing that the progress is going to be the natural next thing that you're going to be experiencing, moving ahead. You're going to be seeing that you're going to be moving ahead faster than your peers, than anyone you can think of who's not on this journey of constant evolution, constant personal development, constant practice of high performance habits. And ultimately, you're going to experience that high performance lifestyle. You're going to be super assertive about the actions that you're going to be taking, and setting the right intention on a daily basis. You know for sure that the time is running out. If you're not been told about this, let me remind you this, and also let me remind this to myself, that our time on this planet is limited. So there is a real urgency, not just because the time is limited, because you have the potential to get into the next level, and there is someone else who really wants you to be on your A game, on top of your game. It can be you yourself, it can be your future best version, it can be your spouse, it can be your family members, it can be your community members. But there's someone who really wants you to be in your A game. All right, so these are going to be the major themes: bringing your A game, top game into play. And let me tell you this again: if you have been not been part of any community which helps you constantly grow, constantly think about personal development, constantly give you practices that are not just about some any regular habits. These are science backed habits that high performers like Olympic athletes, like highly successful businessmen, people like Oprah Winfrey, these are all the practices that even they do. And what you're getting exposed to is international quality of building high performance habits. And if you're not yet part of this community, probably you'll see a link below here. And I really hope and I really want you to make the decision to join this high performance culture. All right. So I really hope that you take the decision and be part of this. And if you're already part of this community, you're going to be seeing amazing growth. You're going to be seeing amazing well-being more than anything. All right, real well-being. So that's the promise I have. Provided you're staying on the path, you're staying on the course, and taking action, and building all these habits. All right. So these are the advancements. So even when I lost my job, so when I lost my job, not just for the first time, even for the second time, I realized that I have to become productive. I was super specific on what are those things that I'm going to be doing on an hourly, in fact, in an every 15-minute basis. And you know what that led to? That led to my biggest career breakthrough in my life. More close to 75% hike, traveling the world. I got opportunity to work from home, right? So I never experienced that kind of growth before. Leadership, I really started leading myself at that time, and I actually got into leadership position. So um, you're going to be seeing that if you have gone through a crisis, and if you have solved it for yourself, you will definitely see all these phases of evolution. So now let's look at what are the demands. So uh, if we just set the intention just before some time back during the code of honor, that the intention is to become a legend, become a legend at what you do. And becoming a legend is not just about towards the end of your life, but if you can take those daily intentional action on a consistent basis, you will definitely you'll see that end of the day, you can have those benchmarks like what we discussed last time. What is your personal benchmark for excellence? What does personal excellence means to you, right? We discussed about this a week ago. If you're hitting those benchmark, you're already a legend. Just that you have next level of legendary action to take. All right, so now let's look at what are the demands of phase 3. What is the demand? What does phase 3 demand from you? First thing is vision beyond phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 or phase 2. So in phase 1 it's about fear, phase 2 is about empathy. But if you're just still afraid, and if you're just being empathetic, saying, all right, this happened to me, I'm super proud of what I have gone through, uh, I'm going to expand my vision and all those things, um, that's great. But if the vision is not yet expanded, where you're going and taking action, where you are joining communities which are really transforming people's lives, if you're not doing that yet, you're already out of the game, my friend. So I think it's high time. I'm not asking you to do this just because I have a community. Even if there is some other community which you can relate to, the core values, the people of the community, the leader of the community, if you can relate to any of these things, jump in. And if you can relate to what I am teaching you here, I think you have to really make this decision and join Leadership Impact Hub very soon, before time runs out, before someone else sells you a, a vision that diminishes who you are. Before that happens, you have to join this community. All right. Vision beyond phase 1 and phase 2. That's what you have to bring in. Next thing is start thriving, not just surviving. Surviving is all right. I'm going to try 3 things, and I'm just going to probably see what works. That's a great first start, but that does not qualify for thriving. You know what it requires for you to thrive? Push yourself beyond your comfort zone. A lot of people, even in this live uh, coaching session which you're going through, a lot of people signed up for it, but they did not show up. Even if you're watching this as a recording, even if you're not part of this community yet, I send this video to so many people because I know that with this knowledge, you know which phase you are in, so that you can take the next decision and just move on with your life to the next best version that you can actually figure out for yourself, your next best version. But are you pushing beyond your comfort zone, or are you just staying in that phase 1 or 2, where you're just locked out, you're just hoping for things to happen? Get out of the door and make things happen. That's what it is in phase 3, right? Pushing yourself beyond the comfort zone. Next one is what it takes to thrive is, what are the stretch goals? What are the stretch goals that you have set for yourself this week? Just this week, just this day, just this hour. What are the stretch goals that you have kept for yourself? Stretch goals are something that you have probably not tried before. Probably that's something which is outside of your comfort zone. Probably you've been trying to complete a course, but you've not been trying to find the time. So can you find the time to get on, learn something, start implementing that? Can you find that 30 minutes on a daily basis to practice your morning rituals? Can you start journaling? Might be difficult, and it's going to be difficult when you do not have that practice, but can you start doing that? Are you stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And if you're part of this community, that's one of the things that I'm going to be doing, and you can probably sense it already through all the gamifications that we have, the hackathons, the certifications, the courses, the different levels of coaching that we have here. These are all stretch goals that I am setting for yourself. I'm challenging you. In fact, a lot of you went through the strangest secret challenge, and I can see a lot of mindset transformation happening there. So congratulations if you have gone through that, and if you're continuing with that, awesome, well done. All right, so this is what it takes to thrive. Third one is, while you're doing this, as I said, this is a high performance culture that we are building here. It's not a burnout culture. It's not a hashtag hashtag hustle culture that I'm building into this community. That's not what it is. People think that okay, high performance means always about constantly grinding, and one day just coming to a huge halt. That's not what it is. We know how to avoid burnout on a daily basis. It's not a yearly vacation that's going to help you avoid the burnout. That's not going to help you. If someone has told you that, that's not how burnout can be avoided. It has to be avoided on a daily basis. These are all key knowledge, key improvement areas that we are not taught during our education or employment system. A lot of billion-dollar companies, if you go and look at their strategy, they say, all right, we want to build a high performance culture, but they have no clue how a high performance individual is built. Forget a culture. How does a culture get built? When an individual shows up and demonstrates those values, those habits, those lifestyle that others can also start, you know, adopting, role modeling, fact modeling, so that people can start role modeling that person and start building those things, those lifestyle choices. That's what it takes to thrive. Okay, so this is the second demand that phase 3 is going to ask you to do. Are you ready for this? Start thriving. It's not about being afraid. It's an awesome news that you're discovering so many things about yourself on a daily basis. All right, that's what it is. Third one is high levels of effectiveness. What does low level of effectiveness look like? All right, I have 10 things to do. I'm just going to be uh, trying number one, two, three, because this is the priority one, two, three. And tomorrow I'm going to try four, five, six, and all these things. Effectiveness is already gone. One thing, maybe have three priorities, focus on one thing. So many people are so, uh, you know, they pat their back because they can multitask, right? They pat their back and say, you know what, I am a multitasker. But every time you multitask, you're just giving up on, on finding that new version that's hidden in you, finding that best version, that next best version that you can actually create through focus, through prioritization, and by just working on one thing, creating that quality output by just focusing on one thing, but by creating that flow state of creativity, energy, and a lot of other things that you can create. All right, through prioritization and through productivity, because productivity is going to be the one of the big themes of phase 3. All right, so this is something you have to be aware of. High levels of effectiveness. Last one, but not the least, practicing practicing courage, right? Practicing courage. What does it mean to practice courage? So make decisions and make them fast. uh, People who are still in phase 1 or 2, they're still hoarding things, they're still not making decisions that can change their life. People in phase 3, like people in this community, constantly making decisions, they're constantly practicing. What does it mean to practice a habit? It's a decision that you are making, that all right, this practice, this habit is actually, it has the potential to move me forward, to help me uncover that new identity that I'm seeking internally. Practice courage. Second one is, encourage others to really go for it. So through my weekly sessions, through my weekly coaching, through the courses that I've created, the one of the important goals for me is to encourage others, encourage this community. And even if you're not part of this community yet, I would highly encourage that you really go for it. You're already able to see the value that you can get just by one such session. Just imagine how much more you can grow, you can build for yourself, how well you can actually lead your life the high performance way. Right, so this is my constant goal, to encourage people uh, to move. I'm going to be introducing a lot of challenges, and especially if you are in the gold level membership, it's constantly going to be a challenge after the other. In fact, I'm also thinking about having year around challenge focused on specific skill development, or focused on specific high performance habit. It can be clarity challenge, it can be a confidence challenge, it can be improving your identity challenge. Within 30 days, 30, 60, 90, within 90 days, you're going to be getting those breakthrough moments, those breakthrough in your own life. So that's the goal I have. Right. So for that, this can be your first step. If you're not a part of the community, this can be your first step to practice courage and join me, join all the other high performers, leaders who really want to make a huge contribution to their own life, to people whom they care in their life, to make things better for the larger audience. All right, if those are things that really resonate with you, practice courage, make that move and join this community. All right, so this is something I really wanted to take you through. And even personally, as I said, when um, I was going through a crisis in my career, when I was thrown out of the job, I really had the vision beyond phase one and phase two. I really started to thrive. I really started to bring in those high levels of effectiveness on an hourly basis. And I really started practicing that element of courage. Courage meaning, uh, I probably know that this if I give this interview, there are lesser chances for me to get through, but I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to practice courage. I'm going to be there, and because of that, as I said, that got me the biggest break of my career, and I'm pretty sure by you being part of this community, you're going to be getting, or if not, you would have already got a lot of personal breakthroughs when it comes to being in this constant journey of personal development and self improvement. So this is something which I really wanted to uh, share with you, and thank you so much for again for joining me live and being part of this community. And if not, this is your time to join me and join all our elite members whose mission, whose goal is to not just grow, but to also thrive, also contribute, and also give back, and also get lot of things abundantly through the high performance habits that I'm coaching them with. All right. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for learning and being patient through this video. I really hope this added a lot of value. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm here to serve and I'm here to help. And that's it. So we're going to be catching up next week. So by then, I just want you to type in the chat box, what is that one commitment that you're going to make to yourself this between this Wednesday and next Wednesday before we catch up? What is that one commitment? It can be a habit that you want to create. It can be a book that's lying on your shelf that you want to read and complete. It can be going through some of the courses that I've been teaching you. What is that one commitment that you want to do to yourself? And let's make it happen before we meet up next time. All right. So thank you so much again. Uh, I'll sign off now, and I hope to see you live next week. And I also hope to see you inside the community very soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.